Hello everyone, Kelly here, where we learn to master the mirror, and I'm so excited that you've decided to join me today. So we are going to do a card reading today. I'm going to do a 4-card pull with a new deck that I just got. This is Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Really love it. My first pull was super accurate yesterday, so I am so pumped to share this with you. Bear with me, it is a new deck, so I will be reading a little bit from the book. Well, a lot from the book actually, because this is a brand new deck. But I wanted to talk while I'm shuffling the cards. Just call in spirit. Yeah, call in spirit. And we need a message today for the collective. But I want to share with you that, it's really important that that you learn to let go of doubt. No matter where you are in your journey, the more you can let go of doubt, the faster you're going to be in union. Okay, so, and the truth is you're already in union. You cannot, really, the truth is you cannot separate yourself, whether your twin is married or not, or this or that, right? You can't separate yourself from your twin because you are your twin. You are one. Okay, so that is the truth of it. All right, so really excited to draw some cards here. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is really just stepping into your spiritual prosperity, really learning to understand that you're worthy of your union because, you and your twin flame are one at the core. And so a lot of times we tend to put people on a pedestal, and that creates a ton of resistance, right? So, you guys are naturally your best companion, even though you bring a lot up within each other to be healed and cleared. So if you happen to be in separation right now, just know that right now is a time of clearing. It's always a time of healing. But I do encourage you to, to really, get help on your journey. I didn't really start doing much better on my journey until I got some help. I asked for some help. Okay, so that's the first card. Let's see what else. Da, da, da. Yeah, there we go. 2, 3, and what's the challenge? What's the out? What do we need to flow through? Let's see. One more. There it is. Okay. All right. So, card number 1. All right, so this is what is the true issue, okay? Balance. Wow, got this yesterday. Okay, 19. So where are you needing to find more balance in your life? So number 19, balance. So you want to seek balance. Extremes of anything are rarely healthy or useful. There may be an overreaction that has caused the issue. Ground yourself and allow your strength to rise from there. Be aware of where the imbalances in your life are at present. So I will share, when you're talking about balancing and grounding, the biggest thing about grounding is that you want to just bring yourself back to the present moment. I had for a long time, wasn't quite sure what that meant, but really it's just being present in your reality, as opposed to, how a lot of times we'll do things on automatic pilot. You want to get out of those. Notice those moments. Bring love there. Okay, I noticed, I have no idea how I got to the supermarket or wherever it is that you happen to be going. And just bring presence there and say, okay, I have an intention to be present today. That will be huge. You might want to light a candle in the morning and pay attention to your thoughts. And that also will help you later on throughout the day, help you be more present with your thoughts. It's a really great way to do that, to ground, all right? So I seek and maintain healthy balance in my life. Maybe you're in a cycle where you're having to work a whole lot, and you're overdoing it in a lot of your areas of your life. Well, I will say that cycle of being super, super busy and just never having a moment to stop and pause and reflect, even though you may do it when you do have a few moments, is a pattern that has a lot to do with self-worth and self-value. Maybe you're working so hard because that's where you place your value. But the truth is your value isn't based on what your monetary status is, your place in the world, right? Your value is associated with your true spiritual prosperity, which is you are part of the divine, and you are worthy because you're part of the divine. And ultimately, the divine just wants to use you for the good out in the world. So what is it that you can do to make that happen? And then you'll see your abundance coming through, and then you won't be in that cycle anymore, okay? All right, so working through the lunar cycle on a regular basis helps us actually experience the flow and balance of nature. The moon shows us the gradual and peaceful process of waxing and waning, and the phases of perfect balance within. And so the waning moon is about what do you need to release? What do you need to give up in order to have more balance and step into more peace in your life, okay? And the waxing moon is all about, that's a good time to set intentions. Okay, so think on this. If we try to stand on one leg and balance ourselves, no matter how good at balancing on one leg may be, it is a kind of dance, is it not? The large and small muscles of the legs adjust to keep us upright, almost moving, never perfectly still. The rest of the body is also performing a myriad of adjustments. A little to the right here in one moment, a little to the center there. The point is that balance is a process, something we can actively seek if we are wise. We need to know when we are unbalanced so we can return to homeostasis. So this is just really huge, because what I think she's getting at is really finding that alignment within, right? And if you're way out of balance on one area, you are going to shift and find, balance in the other area. But, it's this idea of shift or be shifted. You want to find that place where you're not having to be shifted, where you're actually able to come into that natural alignment, on your own by listening to the divine, okay? It is useful to know where our imbalances lie and to make a decision about moving towards a more balanced vision. Self-reflection helps identify this. When we are too something, working too long, thinking too fast, eating too much, we need to be honest with ourselves so we can identify this quite easily. Allowing ourselves a more considered and balanced view invites a true peacefulness into our lives, something that many people crave in this incredibly busy and chaotic world. Balance allows us to understand that overwhelm isn't a place we want to visit. It's not a place we want to visit, let alone stay home in. So, just really learning to notice when that overwhelm comes in and learning to make the adjustment so that, because ultimately we really can create the life of our dreams. And whether it's getting out of a career and into a new one, or just making all these shifts. Right now, there's so much shifting in the universe because we're going out of this old paradigm of I have to because of this, No, we're all supposed to follow our heart's desires and just trust that the universe will help us monetize it and keep us in our gifts, right? So, but you may have to adjust it a little bit, right? All right, so this is, how can we solve it? All right, so this is realization. Card number 3, realization. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so there's a key. Look at that keyhole. It's amazing. You're standing. Sorry, there's so much glare. Look at that. There's a woman standing in this huge keyhole. I love that. Okay, so, all right. So let's look at number 3. So this is really how you're learning to solve it. So this is the waxing crescent 1. So this is a great time to set intentions, okay? Realization. With self-awareness comes realization. Knowledge is power. Self-examination of your role within a situation is important. I have timely self-awareness and act upon my realizations. Yeah, so this is so huge. Like I always used to be really upset with time because, like I never had enough money. I never had enough time to get everything done. I always had more time than I had money by the end of the month. Like all of these things that, but really the true purpose of time is to help sync you back with eternity, right? So if you're off time-wise, that contrast is helping you to get clear on how to sync with spirit. Okay, so it's okay to be upset about it, but just know that it absolutely can be healed, and it should be healed. Yeah. So, all right. Okay. So, as we move into the early waxing cycle, light begins to shine upon the shadows, illuminating what it is. This is the beginning of a powerful process, realization. When we decide to really examine our lives without fear or favor, it can be hard. This is no doubt an act of courage. We might not like what we discover. After all, yet without self-awareness and the will to act upon those realizations, whether we perceive them as negative or positive, we do not get to change or grow. And it's so important here to, someone had told me that, a lot of these like big professional programs that you see, like people will go to these big conferences, searching for breakthrough. And, if you sat down with all of these people individually, they would probably be able to look at their shadow side and say, this is my thing. I don't know how to get over this. And sometimes that's the problem and sometimes it's not, right? So a lot of times the problem, I used to think I had like a financial problem. It wasn't a financial problem. It was a self-worth problem. So it's really looking at those parts of our lives that are not willing. Like I have a ballet school. I wasn't willing to increase my prices. I wasn't willing to learn how to do Facebook ads because I didn't think I could find a way to afford someone to teach me to do that. And as soon as I started getting coaching, I started diving into all these, like my money mindset and my belief systems around who I was. I started to see the solutions like started to appear. I was like, oh, I just need to find a program that will help me with this. And so, yeah, problem solved, right? But my biggest problem is that I couldn't see a solution because I didn't believe I was worth it. I didn't believe that anybody cared. I didn't believe that God cared. But that's such a lie, right? It's such a lie. Why do we tell ourselves these things? We can then take personal responsibility to change our situation since we know our current position. Knowing ourselves more completely enables us to accept ourselves more readily and to dare to love exactly who we really are. Yes, I was thinking about that today. One of my breakthroughs recently is thinking about like my twin. I think of him as like, the ultimate, masculine, right? Like the ultimate, like he's the best man I've ever met in my life. But conversely, what does that mean about me? That means, well, oh my gosh, like, wow, I'm like the best woman I've ever met, so, and I'm like, wow, how would I be talking to myself if I really believe that to be true? How would I be going after my dreams if I believe that to be true, right? So it can be really powerful to break you out of old cycles and old patterns when you really start to love and honor who you are. Okay, so this is the fire. What emotions can I bring to or release from this? Pleasure. Love it. Oh, it's beautiful. I was just doing that today. I teach fitness, and I was just opening my heart just like she is today. Look at that. She's opening her heart to receive, right? And what are we opening to receive? So a lot of times we think about, oh, I want to receive, my twin flame. I want to receive, more money. I want to receive the car of my dreams. I want to receive like all of this outside stuff, right? But the truth is, how can we receive God? How can we receive from within? How can we receive? Because ultimately, whenever I go into my inner child, it's like, I see this image of myself kind of like, all here, and like, God coming in and just being there present with me, whether it's Jesus or whatever. And imagining myself as this diamond, and God just wants to work through me. Right. And so how can you, really the pleasure is being able to open up, realizing that you are the gift, right? You are the gift that God's trying to give to the world, because all of us on this journey, we're here because we want to make a difference in the world. And it's super, super important as you begin to bring in, as you begin to bring in more finances, as you bring in the best of yourself to the world, that you continue to let the joy in. One of my biggest realizations was just that I struggled with depression my entire life. My depression actually was due to feeling disempowered. And so, because I thought God didn't care. Okay, but God does care. And as soon as I made that realization that I just was disempowered, like all this joy came through me, because I was just disempowered. It's like, I was just disempowered. But the truth is like, what do I need to hear? What do I need to hear for myself? And that's what I work on sharing with the people in the world. What do I need to hear today so that I can make a difference in the world? So the pleasure is the light. It is the joy. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that cut off. All right. So we were talking about pleasure. Look at that, how beautiful she's opening up. And we were talking about how the divine just wants to use you as a resource to help others. Okay, let's see what the book says here. It also talks about, are you taking life too intensely or too seriously? The time has come to call in the pleasures of life. Seek lightheartedness at this time. Focus on what would make you happy. Schedule in activities you find pleasurable. I open myself to the pleasures of life. And so it's about looking at what's in the way of your pleasure. What is in the way? Because the truth is, when you really face the truth, you are going to be able to open up into pleasure. When you look at, we've got our basic needs as humans, but if you look at a child, right, they are just in bliss all the time, as long as they're hungry and fed and their basic needs taken care of. They're not worried about the Mercedes or the whatever it is on the outside that tends to make people happy, right? Although there's probably a lot of people that are chasing the dollar who aren't so happy anyway. So why do we do those things? I don't know. Regardless, what are the things that bring you pleasure? Okay, and what are in the way of that? One of my biggest blocks, you guys, I just realized that I've struggled with depression my whole life, but I'd been ignoring it completely. I'd been, dancing my whole life, ignoring the fact that I struggled with depression. Once I burned my adrenals out and had some health issues because of all the work that I did to bring in pleasure, I had to really get my nutrition. So I was using my nutrition to get me to that high pleasurable feeling. And I just one thing after another. And then eventually all of those things just don't work. You're just, you just exhaust everything. I'm like, why am I not able to pull in my joy? And I realized it was because I was lying to myself about this place that I wasn't able to experience pleasure. I was denying that I struggled with depression. And, my family struggles with depression. I have mental illness in my family, but I could have said, oh, well, it's just my family lineage. But I asked Spirit, I'm like, what's behind that? And I was feeling disempowered. Well, that would make anybody depressed, right? And I had shame around that as well. And so once I was willing to see the truth of that, like all of this joy flooded in and all of this confidence that almost came out of nowhere. Like it was always there, right? So what's in the way of your pleasure? Okay, so if you're not able to be lighthearted, if you're not able to laugh, I've definitely had like long periods of my life that I haven't been able to laugh. So that's a huge sign, right? Huge, huge sign. Okay, let's check out our last card. Okay, so our last card, and this is your what needs to flow to help your resolution happen. And look at that. We have the masculine card. I pulled this one yesterday as well. And balance as well. I pulled balance as well. So interesting. I was like, yeah, that's a good resolution, the masculine. But let's dive a little deeper in that. It's not so much, if you're on this journey as a feminine, right? It's not like your masculine's going to come in and save the day, right? Because, well, at the end of the day, you are your masculine, so you have just as much ability to save yourself, okay? And I suggest you do so. But this is really about taking the masculine energy of, drive, ambition, goal setting, empowering others. Like, what is it that you can do in your world to create more balance, right? To bring in more pleasure so that you can realize your dreams with your masculine and otherwise, right? So beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, I just want to give you hope. No matter where you are on your journey, just remember that you are your own divine self, right? You make a decision, you make a choice, and you can bring it into reality. I remember when I was going for moving from dance into fitness, I was having a really hard time because I'm an empath. I'm like really, really sensitive. And so when I would go to these gyms, right, like I could see through I could see through everybody. And they kind of hated that about me. They're like, who's this girl? Like, she needs to get out of here. Because I could see their pain. So that wasn't super, it wasn't super welcome. They weren't doing their spiritual work. They were just like, empowering themselves through fitness and getting high through fitness. They weren't really healing. And so, they didn't like that. So I could never really find success in the fitness. So I was like, fine, I'm just going to build a door. And I didn't say I'm going to be a personal trainer. I said, okay, I'm going to be a corporate trainer. I'm going to be a corporate, and everybody I talk to, I'm going to be a corporate trainer. And lo and behold, I was able to, I got a lead on a gym opening up, a corporate one, and I got it. I was there for 2 years. So it's really about deciding. And look back, if you don't believe that for yourself, look back at the couple things that you may have decided in your life that you said, this is how it is, and it was able to manifest. And this is true with your divine counterpart, with your divine union, and with your divine destiny. No one can keep you from your dreams except for you. So I want to encourage those of you, I hear a lot of times in our open forum at Twin Flames Universe, I hear a lot of people, oh, the psychic told me this, I got a really rough reading, this said it's not going to happen this lifetime. Like, really? And why would you listen to them? So, you certainly don't have to listen to me either. I just suggest that you tune into yourself and make a decision about what you want, because you can create and manifest anything that you want. There just may be some emotional blocks to believing that you can have what you want. Okay, so I truly believe that every good coach is going to empower you with your own ability to heal, your own ability to choose. And really having a psychic tell you something like that is really just a part of you that doesn't believe that you can have your union. It's just manifesting as the part of yourself that doesn't believe you can have your union. You can say, oh, I see you. I see you. I see this part of myself that doesn't believe it. I see this part of myself that does not trust God here. And you can go in, you can love that part of yourself, just bring in that self-love, and it will heal everything. And I know it sounds like crazy and that simple, but again, I want to encourage you to join my Mirror Mastery workshop, because that's what's going to help you. I will give you tools. I'll give you tools to actually master this on your own. I still have a consistent coach. I encourage consistent coaching, but I will give you the tools to really get started. Okay? All right. You guys have a beautiful day. I'm so grateful to have you here. And it's New Year's. Happy New Year. Blessings, love, and wishing you all the best on your journey today and always.